So there are a lot of fundamental questions that people have in deciding whether to get into accounting, because a lot of things are going on, and people are changing career path. And so a lot of people are thinking about, hey, I want to get into accounting. I want to become a chartered accountant. What do I do? So in this video, we are going to be answering some of the fundamental questions that a lot of people ask when they are trying to change career from medicine to accounting, from agriculture to accounting, from banking and finance to accounting, or whatever field to accounting. Some fundamental questions that people ask, and that is what we want to answer. And if you have any other question, also you are in that position or you know someone in that position, make sure you share this video with them or put it in the comment section for me. The first question that people ask me a lot is, hey Nhyira, I'm afraid of maths. Can I do this? Yes, you have to understand that when it comes to accounting, when it comes to finance, when it comes to becoming a chartered accountant, you don't need to have a maths degree. You don't need to be a maths genius. It's just fundamental, basic arithmetic, maths, and percentages that we are dealing with in accounting. So you don't have to have done elective maths. You don't have to know a lot of things in maths. It's some basic arithmetic, mathematics, and percentages. So no, you don't need a maths degree. You don't need to be a maths guru to do accounting. All you need is to have basic understanding of dealing with arithmetics, how you add, subtract, divide, multiply, and how you work with percentages. And these are fundamental issues. So no, you don't need any maths degree. You don't need any sophistication in your understanding of mathematics, whether core mathematics or elective mathematics. No, you just need some basic understanding and you will be good. So maybe you didn't like maths in high school. That's why probably you chose another career, but now you are thinking about coming back and doing what you think you want, which is become a chartered accountant or do something accounting related, get an accounting degree or do an MBA in accounting and finance. But you're thinking about, hey, will this maths be thing? Yeah, you just need some basic understanding. You don't have to be sophisticated maths genius to be able to do anything in accounting. It's very simple and you can do it. And so just in line with that, some people also ask, okay, Nhyira, I have heard about ACCA, I've heard about ICA, I've heard about ICAEW, I've heard about ICAN, I've heard about ICAG, I've heard about SEMA. What's the difference between this? Which one do I go for? And the common question then is, Nhyira, should I do ACCA or I should do ICAG? Should I do ACCA or I should do ICAN? And so the ACCA is the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants UK. ICAG is the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. ICAN is the Institute of Chartered Accountants Nigeria. ICAEW is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. Now, the difference between this is based on focus. What does that mean? It means that the ACCA is a global certification. And so if you are somebody who wants to work in a lot of countries, right? Go anywhere and be able to work, get something to do, then ACCA is your path because it's a global certification. The ICAG is local, that is Ghana, is contextualized, jurisdictional. ICAEW, the same thing, local, contextualized, jurisdictional in the UK. ICAN, contextualized, local, in Nigeria. So that is the difference between the two things. So ACCA is a global certification. You can get yourself to do things in various countries, various locations. But the ICAG, ICAEW, ICAN, they are going to be jurisdictional, local-based professional qualification examination. Now, this is what you must understand. There are certain roles that you cannot have, and there are certain things that you cannot do as an accountant in Ghana if you are not a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. There are certain roles, certain jobs that you cannot get in the UK if you're not a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants England and Wales. Right? So the ACCA gives you that global footprint, but the ICAG, the ICAN, the ICAW are focused on the respective jurisdictional places that you are dealing with. And so the question then is, okay, Nhyira, which one should I go for? It's all about what is your goal, but as I always say that you can come back to either of the professions depending on your goal. So maybe you are in Ghana, right? And you want to become a chartered accountant. I will recommend that for 99.9% of the time, you do the ICAG because you are in Ghana, right? You get the qualification. It is far cheaper, and you become a chartered accountant, become a member of the ICAG. Boom, that is great. Then if you want to add the ACCA, why not? You can get some exemptions and then get the ACCA, that global qualification as well, and add to it. Or if you're somebody that money not be problem and you see yourself as somebody who will be a global person, who will be maybe traveling around the world, you want to be working in various markets, then you can start with the ACCA. You can still come back to ICAG with the exemption later on. And so for the most part, I will recommend, because of the state of the economy, because of flexibility, because of the opportunities available and some other factors, start with the ICAG if you're in Ghana. If you're in Nigeria, the same thing. Start with the ICAN. The same thing. It is cheaper than your ACCA. It is cheaper than any other thing else, and you'll be able to get that qualification, get yourself starting up. Then when you start making some money, then you can add that global recognition if you want to. So that is also the second thing that you need to understand when it comes to which one should you go for. Start with the ICAG if you're in Ghana. Start with ICAN if you're in the in Nigeria or any other African country. Start with a local qualification, because that is where your base is. That's where you can make yourself valuable in the marketplace. Then you can always add the ACCA qualification later as you move ahead in your professional journey. Or if you are somebody who money no be problem, then you can do the ACCA. You can still come back to the local qualification all the time. You get some exemptions, write some papers, and become a member of the professional qualification in your respective country. So that is what you need to understand as well in respect of that question. Then another question that I have here is, okay, Nhyira, why do people take longer to become chartered accountants? This is another thing that people worry about, because I've had people who come and say, hey, Nhyira, I've known this person. They've been on the journey for 10 years, for 7 years, for 5 years before they became a chartered accountant. Why is it so difficult? It's like the system is designed so that people don't pass. The way I will answer this question is that it is individual specific. I have been in the game over a decade, right? And so I have seen everything that there is to be seen. I've had people who come, boom, and they are gone. In less than a year, they become chartered accountants. And they are starting from level 2 because they are coming from first degree in accounting. So they are starting from level 2. In less than a year, boom, they are gone. Or within a year, they are gone. I've had people who come and they have to take 2 years before they are done. I've had people who come, they wrote a paper, they didn't pass. Try another, they didn't pass. The third time, they didn't pass. Then they stopped to go and do something else. And in all these, one thing that I see is about dedication. It's about sacrifice. It's about how hungry are you to make this thing and to pass the examination. The ICAG, the ACCA, the ICAN examination is not difficult. But people are not studying. That is why a lot of people take longer to become chartered accountants. And so if you are coming in the game and you are thinking about, oh, someone took 10 years. By that time, I would have done a first degree, done a second degree, finished with 2 PhDs, and the person is still not a chartered accountant. No. Look at the positive side as well. There are people who take a year to finish it. There are people max 2 years, they are done, starting from level 1. And so I don't want you to be misled. I don't want you to be hooked on the negativities that you have heard. That yes, people take Over decades, people take 5-10 years to become chartered accountants. It's not about them. Look at the other part, because there are other people who also take shorter time to complete. And with the ICAG, for instance, now there are 3 examination dates every year. So you are writing exam in March, in July, and in November. So let's say you are starting from level 1. All other things being equal, you are sitting for each paper, you are studying, and you are passing the examination. And each examination date, let's say you are going to sit for 2 papers. 2 papers. Each examination date, you are starting from level 1, sitting for 2 papers. There are 14 papers in total. 4 in level 1, 6 in level 2, 4 in level 3. So 14 papers in total. So if you are somebody who is dedicated, you are willing to put in the effort, you are willing to put in the sacrifices, you are willing to go the extra mile, you are willing to heed to guidance and be willing to go through what it takes in order for you to pass the examination, it means that technically within 1 year there are 3 examination dates, you've written 6 papers. Let's say you pass all of them, all other things being equal, just writing 2 papers, right? You pass all of them at each examination date. Then the second year, still you are doing 2 papers, because I am assuming that you have other responsibilities and other things. So you just want to take it a step by step. So what it means is that technically in 2.5 years, or within 2.5 years, you are done. You are now a chartered accountant. Within 2.5 years, starting from level 1. And you are writing 2 papers each examination date, and you are passing all of the 2 papers. Now, if you're somebody who says, hey, Nhyira, I want to really go into this thing, I want to do full time, and I want to really be committed, then maybe there are some examination dates, you may do 3 papers, you may even do 4 papers if you're a full-time student, and all of those things. And if maybe you are coming in from even accounting and finance, first degree on HND, that means you're going to be exempted from level 1 and maybe a paper or 2 in level 2. So technically you're going to be left with around 8 papers to go, and you could do that in 1 year if again you are committed, you are dedicated, and you are willing to go the extra mile. And so I don't want you to think about it that, oh, it's a difficult paper, oh, people take longer to become chartered accountants. No, it is about what you are willing to do. 99.9% of the time, people don't study. And that is what I've seen over the last decade in the game. People do not study. They are busy doing other things and they don't study, but they will register for the exam. So a week to the exam or 2 weeks to the exam, they will take leave. And then in that 2 weeks or that 1 week, that is where they are going to try to read through all the books, attend all manner of intervention classes, but they are not prepared. And they go to the exam hall and fail the exam. And these are the people who continue to propagate the message that, oh, ICA examination is difficult. Oh, ICA examination is difficult. Bro, you are not studying. Because the exam that people complain about that it's difficult, it's loaded, it's packed, that same exam, someone came out as the overall best student. That same exam, some people passed. That same exam, some people excelled. So why did the other people fail? So if you are fresh coming in, I don't want you to follow the negativity. That is a wrong foot to start with. I want you to look at the positive side. I want you to look at how hungry you are. I want you to look at what it takes. I say this always. I don't find it interesting when someone says, oh, I've been writing the exam after 10 years, after 8 years, by the grace of God, I'm a chartered accountant. You don't need 10 years to do this. You don't need 8 years to do this. You don't need 5 years to do this. With commitment, dedication, sacrifice, you can do this in 2. You can even do it in 1. How hungry are you? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? How far are you willing to go? How bad do you want this? Because I tell people this, that the most expensive commodity in the world is time. So you don't want to take 10 years to do something that you could do in 2 years. You want to take 5 years to do something that you could do in 1 year. So if you are coming in fresh, yes, there are people who take forever to become chartered accountants, but there are also people who are able to do it in record time. And if you are guided properly and you follow advice, you follow recommendations, I can guarantee you, you can finish this in record time. And as I said, I've seen all there is over a decade in the game doing this full time. So that is my answer to that question. It's not a difficult examination, but people make it like that. But the people who are willing to go the extra mile, make the necessary sacrifices, will definitely finish this in a record time. So that is what you need to understand. Then another question I have here is, all right, what are the career opportunities? Now, a lot. When you become a chartered accountant, when you learn accounting, the career opportunities, a lot. Every organization needs an accountant. Okay, so you can be an accountant, you can be an auditor, you can be a tax expert, you can be a forensic accountant, you can be somebody who is financial analyst. A lot. The list is endless, because every company needs some people like this. And so for opportunity wise, it's unlimited. Every organization needs somebody who is doing something tax related, who is doing something accounting related, who is doing some forensic accounting. We need somebody who will be part of analyzing the financial statements of a company. So for instance, when a company is going to acquire another company, or somebody is seeking to make an investment decision, they can employ you, they can employ a firm, an accounting firm, to carry out what is referred to as a due diligence, which is to find out whether everything that the company says they are is really what there is, right? And so you could be part of those people doing the due diligence, looking at the finance part, looking at the accounting part, looking at the debts, looking at the various things within the organization. So the career opportunities are endless when it comes to people who study accounting. And this actually is a little connected with another thing, which is about the development in the IT space, because there are many people who are like, oh, technology, artificial intelligence, and other things are going to replace accountants. No, really. Technology is just going to be making the accountant more efficient, more effective, and to be able to deal with the various things that has to be dealt with. So the mundane things like adding of things will not be done again by accountants, will be done by computers. But how to now use that data to help advise management, to help make various decisions, will be done by humans, not by AI, not by robots, not by anything, but will be done by humans. So technology is not going to replace accountants. Yes, there are softwares available that will do a lot of jobs for the accountant, but we certainly need humans to now extract that data, analyze that data, interpret that data, and use that data to then advise the HR department, the operation department, the finance department, the board of directors, and other people within the organization on how they can carry out their responsibilities. So studying accounting, coming into the field, you will not be out of job, and certainly IT is not going to take your job. It is for this reason why you need to also have some knowledge in IT. Okay, we live in a situation where people are like, oh, born before computer. Up to this day, there are a lot of people who enroll in our course and they still have some problems. And we are IT, computer, digitized, platform related. Everything is digitized. Generally, the way you even send your assignment and everything, technically digitized. And people still have problem, and sometimes we needed to provide tutorial to people, guide people on how they are supposed to do certain things, and they are like, oh, born before computer. No, when computer was invented, your mom and your dad had not even met. Okay, so computer has been here all this while. All you need to do is to get some knowledge. All right. Now that doesn't mean you become, hey, a data scientist, a computer guru, a computer. No, 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 no. But you need to have some understanding about the basic issues that really relate to the accounting field, like big data, like data analytics and cloud computing, and how these things actually helps the accountant to do his or her job. And as you study either ICA, ACCA, or SEMA, or whatever you are studying, these are embedded in the program, and you'll be learning them as you go by. So yes, you need some knowledge in IT, but certainly AI, it's not going to be taking your job as an accountant. We still need accountants to be able to do various jobs that AI and robots will definitely not be able to do. So that is what you need to understand when we talk about the opportunities that are available if you decide to go on this path. Now, another common question that people have is the difference between management accounting and financial reporting. Because in the field, you can decide to be a chartered accountant, or you can decide to be a chartered management accountant, which is where you may be interested in doing SEMA in that regard. And so what's the difference? The difference is in the function that they perform generally. Management accounting is primarily for internal users. In other words, the management accountant's job is within the company, helping the company to determine the cost of a product, to set the selling price of the product. They advise management and the various other departments within the organization on how they are supposed to do things, how they are supposed to control their costs, how they are supposed to carry out various operations. So management accounting is more for internal purposes, serves management, serves the employees, and increases the efficiency and effectiveness of the organization. So that is management accounting. Financial reporting or financial accounting, on the other hand, is largely for external purposes, where at the end of the period, we want to now keep proper books of accounts. So transactions that have taken place, the entity purchased something, the entity made sales, the entity paid wages and salaries, the entity took a loan, the entity leased an asset, the entity purchased some assets. Okay, how do we record these in the books of the entity? At the end of the day, did we make profit? Did we make loss? How much tax are we supposed to pay? How much dividend are we paying? How profitable is the company? What is our gearing level? How much debt do we have? How much debt can we go for? That is where financial reporting comes in. And so that serves more of external purposes, so that shareholders will know how the entity is performing, so that the government regulators will also know how the entity is doing for the taxes. At the end of the day, potential investors will be able to also see the financial statements and decide whether to invest in a company or not, and various other things. So whilst financial reporting serves more of external purposes, their duties are based on historical data, what has happened already, let's record it, let's account for it. Management accounting serves internal purposes, management, the department within the organization, and it is going to be relying on both historical data as well as forward looking. And so when it comes to budgeting, how do we prepare the budget of a company? That is not going to be the role of the financial accountant. That will be the management accountant's job generally, because that is forward looking at the end of the day. And so that is the difference that you need to understand and know about. Now, so it doesn't really matter about where you want to be. It's all about where your interest is. So you can decide and say, oh, okay, I want to serve within the organization. All right, then management accounting will be good. You can decide and say, oh, I want to be more external, right? Then financial reporting will be good in that regard. So that is also what we need to understand. These are all acceptable paths or options that you can go for, whether you want to be a management accountant or you want to be a financial accountant. That's it in that regard. As always, you can start with the financial accounting or financial reporting bit, which is doing ICAG, ICAN, ICAEW. Then if you want to add that management accounting layer later, then you can do SIMA and other management accounting program. Even at the end of the day, there are other fields that you can get yourself into. You want to become a tax expert. After you're a chartered accountant, you have to go to the Chartered Institute of Taxation, Ghana, if you're in Ghana, because that's where you are trained to become a chartered tax expert, right? So you can't be a chartered accountant, ICA, and call yourself a tax person. No, you have to go to CIT to become a tax expert. But the ICAG, the ICAN, the ICAW, that's going to set you up in the jurisdiction that you are in. Then if you want to specialize in any of the fields in accounting, then you can decide to further with the specialization respectively to be able to become successful. So that is what you need to understand about the various options available and the differences that you need to understand about each of these options. So these are some common questions that you need to know about in this episode, and I'm going to be catching you in the next episode. If there are any other questions that you have that you want to pick my brain on, put it in the comment section for me. I'll be glad to answer these questions in the next episode. And remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.